And we're back here on Inside the Ropes, joined by the one and only Jerry the King Lawler. Jerry, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
It's good to see you here in the UK.
Let me see. What do you mean the one and only?
Well, the legend, Memphis legend, you know, punched Andy Kaufman on Letterman. There's lots of stuff, right?
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. That's
Listen, I've wanted to talk to you for a long time and interview you. Let's go back to, you were such a big Memphis legend, and then in 1992 you went to WWF. Why was that the right time for you to go to work for Vince McMahon?
that's the first time he asked me. Before that, we had a big feud going between our company in Memphis and the WWE, and they came into Memphis and booked Harley Race as the king, so I sued Vince McMahon and won the lawsuit, and so I figured it was be a while before he asked me, but then not long after the lawsuit that we won, he called me up and said, "We will." Here was my deal was, he said, "You stay in USWA, which was our Memphis roasting, and he said, you keep that as going as long as you can. We'll use it as a
The platform.
yes, a place for talented come to wrestle in Memphis, and so I agreed. I went and would wrestle on Monday nights and on Monday nights in Memphis, and then I would go on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays and wrestle for Vince McMahon. So
And you came in and you were one of the top heels, and you always people always look back on the feud with Bret the Hitman Hart and the things that you would say about the Hart family. I mean, they were so brutal. But how was that getting to be in such a top spot and have so much fun with the Harts?
well, it was a lot of fun, and they were just his parents were just perfect targets for heel stuff. I said when they met each other, the Dead Sea was just sick, and so it was just there was just so many things going on, and it really pissed Bret off big time at first, and I heard that about a year after I was doing that, Bret wouldn't have had a talk with both his parents about what I was saying about it, and they thought it was great. They said, "Oh, that's great. He remembered us," and so then he was fine with it after that, and so we had some good matches and everything, and it was a really good deal.
And then, I always remember when I was a kid in 1997, how much Jerry Lawler would rip into ECW on Monday Night Raw. Extremely crappy wrestling. You had a history with Paul Heyman, right? It felt like, you were maybe really telling us what you thought.
Well, it was what I thought, and what you didn't, and what the people didn't realize was it was all true. See, I knew Paul Heyman when he came and wanted to come and work in Memphis. He wasn't even in the business yet. His dad did something with the National Enquirer, and I thought, it's a big name a little bit. I'll use him a little bit, and I let him manage some people for us in Memphis. And our first big deal was we put him and his two guys in a scaffold match against me and Bill Dundee, and he was bringing these high scaffolds, put it 10 feet over the feet, and he made some really good heelish interviews about what it'd be like. And then the Tuesday night came, the Max in Louisville, and they built the thing up there, and he said, at the last minute, he came to me and said, "I can't do it." And I said, "What do you mean you can't do it?" He said, I'm afraid of heights. I can't go out there." Well, I got mad and I punched him and it broke his jaw. And we've been in a bad there's been bad blood since then. He went from there. He got in. He came in wrestling for us as Paul Janersley, something like that, and he made quite a name for himself a little bit. But then we started. He watched all the stuff that we did down in Memphis, like in Louisville. In Tupelo, Mississippi. We had a match where we brought it down back to the concession stand, and fought all over the concession stand. And you saw all this stuff that we did. We had to do crazy stuff down in Memphis anyway. And he eventually started up ECW. And he was doing all the stuff that he's seen us do in Memphis.
So you felt he was taking stuff from your guys' stuff?
He really was. And so I came out and I said, it's crazy, it's extreme grappling wrestling. And I really, I didn't mind the guys, was because I had a bunch of guys that couldn't get worked anywhere else. But I did despise it, and I despised this Paul Heyman, but it's a business deal too. I was the first one. I was the first one from WWE. They went on and worked to their first pay-per-view. So
did you get a lot of heat when you went to the CW arena?
I did a ton of heat. we turned out the lights. Nobody knew I was going to be there. They turned out the lights and they turned them on, and there I was in the ring with a bat or something, I don't know, and just beat the hell out of all the ECW guys, and it made them so bad. Then the following week, I think I brought Jimmy Cornette. They headed him too, and I brought him in there. And so, even though the people knew that I hated it, I still went for them and worked with them, so it was tough.
My very last thing, 'cause I know we need to go. When you filmed Man on the Moon and Jim Carrey was acting like Andy Kaufman on set, how wild was that? Because that got reported in the National Enquirer and everything.
Yeah, it was crazy because he never even met Andy Kaufman his whole life. And he did a deal for the movie where he said, he prayed and did all this stuff, and he said, I'm bringing Andy Kaufman's personality into my body, and he really had nothing like Andy's real personality, and he did everything. Even though Andy and I had become friends by the time we started wrestling, he thought that we hated each other. During the movie, he did stuff, everything you can think of that you could do to embarrass me and everything in Hollywood. And it finally came out to about, I got to do we did the Andy Kaufman did on the David Letterman show. And I got to slap him, and I had him twice as hard as I had Andy Kaufman. And he deserved it. And they said, let's do a retake. And he said, no, that's it. That's it. One time only. So then afterwards, he sent to me some stuff for the movie to my house. So, but I haven't really talked to him since.
Well, Jerry, thank you so much. I really appreciate the time.
Okay, thank you.